I'm rising in opposition to this bill, and I'd like to take a step back and talk a little bit about what the Supreme Court did and what this bill does. Madam Speaker, in constitutional law, challenges of statutes under the Constitution can be made in a few ways. A facial challenge is a challenge to the statute saying it is, in and of itself, on its face, unconstitutional. An as-applied challenge says the statute as applied to a given circumstance is unconstitutional. What the Supreme Court did in State v. Gregory was to invalidate the death penalty statutes of Washington State as applied. The state Supreme Court said in State v. Gregory that it had 4 times invalidated our capital punishment statutes. It had never invalidated them per se on their face. And in State v. Gregory, it explicitly said, we don't do so here either. What the Supreme Court said was, in its application, the death penalty in Washington State was unconstitutional. Madam Speaker, my colleague from the 23rd, the chair of the Civil Rights and Judiciary Committee, mentioned that what the Supreme Court left open was the concept of the death penalty being constitutional and lawful. Madam Speaker, the Supreme Court does not rule on legal concepts. The Supreme Court rules on statutes. If the Supreme Court had wanted to invalidate the death penalty in Washington State on its face, it would have invalidated the statutes of Washington State's death penalty law. It did not do that. It said, as applied, these statutes do not meet constitutional muster. Madam Speaker, because of that, the removal of death penalty statutes under this bill are not proper, don't fit within the title of this bill. May I read the title of the bill, Madam Speaker?
Please proceed.
This bill is relating to removing language from the revised Code of Washington that has been identified by the justices of the Supreme Court or judges of the superior courts as defects and omissions in the laws pursuant to the Constitution. Madam Speaker, the death penalty statutes in Washington State are not a defect. They are not an omission. They have not been made on their face unconstitutional. Therefore, this bill should be put down. I urge a no vote.